We are monitoring developments in the nation's capital, where the Federal High Court has adjourned the trial of leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, to 6th, 7th, and 8th of May for continuation of hearing. At today's hearing, an officer of the DSS who arrested Nnamdi Kanu in 2015 told the court that when Mr. Kanu was arrested, no instrument of violence was found on him. Mr. AAA, the federal government's first witness under cross-examination, admitted that when Mr. Kanu was interviewed in 2015, his lawyer was absent. Mr. AAA agreed that those items now tendered as exhibits before the court are no longer of value. At the last hearing on Tuesday, the court granted the request for the witnesses to testify behind screen due to security reasons. Our senior reporter, Celestina Ria, joins me on the news for more updates. Celestina, what more can you tell us about hearing in the case involving leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu?
Oh, well, about today, so far so good. The trial is going on very smoothly. And considering the evidences given by the first prosecution witness today, so far, nothing incriminating has been found against the indigenous, the leader of IPOB, which is Nnamdi Kanu. So we don't know what is to come as the proceedings continues. And we don't know for sure how many witnesses the federal government is going to call. This is just the first witness, and he was cross-examined today by counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Kanu Agabi, and wherein he made some findings that the way Nnamdi Kanu was interviewed without his lawyer present, that most of the items that were seized or collected from him in 2015 have no value anymore because it's over 10 years. But Justice James Omotosho told Kanu Agabi, which is counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, to come by way of application before the court seeking the release of some of those items, wristwatches, gold chains and necklaces, and see if Mr. Kanu can peradventure sell them and get something out of it. But so far so good, they have no importance. So it will not be any good for either the prosecution or the defendant for those items to still remain in the custody of the court, because now they are exhibits. So the court adjourned to 6th, 7th, and 8th for continuation of trial. So the conclusion of the cross-examination of the first witness will be done, and the second prosecution witness will be called.
All right. You mentioned a while ago that it's unclear how many witnesses the prosecution would be calling. But does it appear that the others might also enjoy this liberty to testify behind screens?
Yes, definitely, because this is the position the court has taken, and it was because of the application filed by the federal government lawyer saying that to protect the identity and the life of the witnesses, they should testify behind the screen. The prosecution first witness, which the court named Mr. AA, to protect his identity, testified behind the screen, and when he even walked up to the dock where he was shielded, he wore a mask. So, but basically, one thing is important: the defendant, which is Nnamdi Kanu, can actually see the witness, but the person, he or she, is shielded from the floor of the court, which are other lawyers and also litigants and journalists. But the defendant, Nnamdi Kanu, can see whoever the prosecution witness is. And this is the first witness. He is a DSS officer. He was among those that arrested Mr. Kanu in 2015, where he was interviewed. And also he said he was among those who escorted Mr. Kanu to their headquarters here in Abuja.
Celestina Ria for us in Abuja. Thank you very much.
We started our cross-examination today, and for hours and I guess we have made progress. We're getting there. The matter is set down for Tuesday, for continuation of cross-examination, and of course for new other witnesses. We believe, like you said last week, we're making progress. The trial is going on in a very congenial atmosphere. I would believe that we will get there.
What is the difference between the matters this No, no, no. We have said enough. Let's go. Let's go. Please.
All right, you're watching Talk Waves TV, and on that note, want to conclude this whole issue of Nnamdi Kanu that has been trending since morning. Now, for the past 10 years that this case has been ongoing, we are beginning to see for the first time, the facilitation of a court hearing, how they've been able to fast forward all this whole thing that's been taking years, to conclude. For a case that have been taking 10 years, and looking at, how the evidences are coming up, issues surrounding this case, you will agree with me that this case has no issue staying as long as 10 years for now. It has no business staying for 10 years. In fact, this is the first time we're getting to this level of, reality and truth in this whole case. Now, you will agree also that with all the so-called evidences and witnesses they've presented so far, this man has nothing against, the government of Nigeria, first of all, because both the witnesses and the evidences they've shown in this whole case, or they've presented, has actually directed us, back to the same thing we've been saying all over and over again for the past 5 years. And that is, on the ground that Nnamdi Kanu is actually innocent of all the crimes, being given against him. So it has actually shown that they were only wasting time. Like, I will always keep on using this word, this sentence rather, or phrase: justice delayed is justice denied. And that has been the pattern, the federal government has been using to hold on to this innocent man. Yes, he is innocent until proven guilty. And with what we are seeing already, it is clear that Nnamdi Kanu is actually innocent. Firstly, do not forget that he was actually discharged and acquitted. He has won over, at least, if I'm not mistaken, he has won over 5 to 6 cases against the federal government, which have summed up to over I think up to ₦1 billion, which the government of the Nigerian has not done anything about. He won a case in Enugu. He won a case in Abia State. At least I'm sure about that. He won another one in Ebonyi, I think so. So, and he won the one he was discharged and acquitted in Abuja. The one that DSS failed to heed to the instruction of the court. So in all these issues and all controversies, that has caused a lot of uproars in the country, it is high time that the Nigerian government does the needful. You've heard it yourself. It has been trending today, and come 6th of May 2025, which is next week Tuesday, I think, we'll be hearing more on this case. At least according to them, they want to bring more witnesses. The DSS official who was part of the people that interrogated Nnamdi Kanu and also arrested him, the first time, that was the one that happened over 10 years ago, he was arrested, at least have come out to give his so-called witness against him. And with the questioning and the cross-examination that we saw today, you will agree with me that that man was just blabbing. At some point, he started stuttering. He was just blabbing out of confusion. You are trying to prosecute a man who did not commit any offense. So you will find it difficult for you to find the right words to hold on to this person. Because with all the witnesses and information you've given about this person, first, he wasn't seen with any incriminating object. You saw him with his personal belonging. The person that was with him also wasn't with any, incriminating item. So it is clear that the Nigerian government do not want to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It's as simple as that, because we've actually seen, all their gimmicks in this whole case. How they've been handling that. In fact, the new judge that came to handle the case, Justice Omotosho, when he came, one thing he said and he clarified is that this case is not going to waste more than a month, because there is no point delaying this case anymore. And that is why he has concluded that come May 8th, he's going to give his final conclusion, final judgment on that case. It's as simple as that. Why do we need to keep on running around a case that is actually clear? A case that we've seen the clarity is there for everybody to see. So the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's court hearing today, well, it went well. But like I said, the next court hearing will be coming up on the 6th. I think 7th and 9th. 8th is the final day for the court hearing. So we'll keep you posted, as we continue to look deep into, this Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's court hearing. This is Talk Waves TV. Make sure you share this video to as many groups and platforms as possible.